So let me introduce Brother Abdullah. Give him the floor. Do you need me to share the documents that you sent to me?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Since you read that, I'm going to address them. I'm going to address three misconceptions in what you read. That wasn't not my plan, but I didn't know you was going to read that. So there's misconceptions there that I have to address. All right, because that's part of my presentation. So my part of my presentation is addressing the misconceptions, three major ones that you read in the document. That's part of my presentation. But since you read that, I'm going to address those three major misconceptions.
Okay. Now, do you have can everybody see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen. Oh, you have all this stuff. Good. All right. So, all right. Three major misconceptions that you read. Better citizens. Be, that they can be better citizens. So I'm going to address that's one. Two, Moors have set up a sovereign theocratic government. Second misconception. Third misconception, that slavery was abolished in 1865. I'm going to address those three misconceptions. These are Mrs. Major. It's major. Those are three major misconceptions that I need to address. Um, and that's part of my presentation anyway. But since you read that, I need to address those three major misconceptions. All right. So we're going to if you look at here, I have put together a three-part series for this is the Moorish Science Temple of America a nation within a nation claim part one. What is the status of the Moorish Science Temple of America analyzed in the context of seven principles of law? So I'm gonna have someone read this introduction, and then I'll go into the three major misconceptions.
Okay. I'll read. So, introduction. Moorish nationality is not a mere identity of a body of people with no connection to a pre-existing sovereignty and government structure prior to the establishment of the United States in 1776 and drafting of the United States Article of Confederation and Perpetual Union 1777 and United States Constitution in 1787. In fact, Moorish nationality embodies a pre-existing Moorish sovereignty, Moorish government, treaty protections, diplomatic relations, consular relations, and relations with the family of nations having no origin in the United States and the United States Constitution. The remedy for us, the Moors, is to restore our people to our original condition and status prior to the European conquest, colonization, subjugation, slavery, servitude, captivity, and bondage, which resides in international law and not in the United States. The United States Constitution, United States laws, United States federal courts, states constitutions, state laws, and state courts. The study of the international law of peace principles of the restoration of our dismantled Moorish state and government, such as the recovery of lost Moorish sovereignty, post-liminian, how do you say that? Post-liminian,
Post-millennium.
post-liminium, the restoration of Moorish statehood, and the re-entering the family of nations as an old and original state under the reversion to sovereignty will aid us, the Moors, in guiding our people out of centuries of perpetual European conquest, colonization, slavery, servitude, captivity, and bondage. The Nation Within a Nation, three-part series is structured to help guide the Moors, both conscious and unconscious, to the proper remedy to our mass denationalization, mass dehumanization, loss of Moorish sovereignty, European conquest, and colonization issues misrepresented as racism, discrimination, hate, prejudice, unfair treatment, white privilege, and supremacy. Further, the nation within a nation, three-part series would enlighten the Moors, both conscious and unconscious, to the political application of the statements, I am a Moor, I am nationalized, I have my Moorish nationality paperwork, I have my Moorish nationality card, my nationality is Moorish American, my nationality is Moor, and I'm going through the Moorish nationalization process. In the context of international law, principles of national sovereignty, statehood, personality of law, recovery of lost sovereignty, post liminim, reversion to sovereignty, consular jurisdiction, diplomatic relations, capitulatory,
Yeah, capitulatory.
capitulatory, extraterritoriality, extraterritorial consular relations, and treaties.
All right. All right. So I'm going to address one of the claims in the resolution, better citizen claim. All right. So we're going to look at, we're going to go to the Kingdom of Hawaii. In 1893, the United States invaded Hawaii, the Kingdom of Hawaii. They put the United States Army put the Queen of Hawaii under house arrest in her own Hawaiian kingdom, palace. The United States that is subjugated Hawaii, and the Hawaiian people, and later annexed Hawaii. So you're looking at international law, subjugation, and annexation.
Hold on 1 second, Abdullah. 1 second. Let me mute somebody here. I think that's oh, there you go. All right, you got it, Abdullah.
All right. In international law, that is known as loss of sovereignty. Loss of sovereignty. So the Kingdom of Hawaii has been collapsed. So when you're looking at arresting the Queen, putting her on house arrest, forcing the United States military tried to force her to sign a surrendering treaty. She never did. That stands today. Her protest stands as I speak today, because that can be revisited. She never signed a surrendering treaty. That position stands today. We're talking international law. So to analyze the native people of Hawaii's condition, you don't look to United States Constitution. You don't look to United States laws. You don't look to United States courts. You don't look to state courts. You don't look to United States legislation. You look to international law, because that's a sovereign state, Kingdom of Hawaii, that was collapsed by a foreign power. That's invasion, due to invasion. She never signed a surrendering treaty. So therefore, it's subjugation. Everything they have done, the United States has been doing to the native people of Hawaii since 1893 has been done under subjugation. All right, so I said that to say this, to address the citizenship. We belong to the Moroccan Empire by consanguinity, ancestry, national origin. Yes, our mother is in the hospital. Our mother is not United States. United States Constitution is not our mother. United States laws is not our mother. United States court is not our mother. Our mother is in the hospital. I'm going to translate it. I'm going to give you the international law terminology. All right. Our mother is in the hospital. That condition of our mother being in the hospital in the state of a coma means a prolonged state of unconsciousness. I'm going to translate it to international law language. The state of our mother being in the hospital is known in international law as the loss of sovereignty. The state of our mother having a prolonged state of absence from the family of nations due to English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Dutch conquest and colonization that brought about a temporary extinction, collapse, disintegration, or dismemberment of our state. United States is not her. Her is in the hospital. Her is in the condition of loss of sovereignty. So you go to international law, you have international law of peace, you have the international law of war. I'm talking international law of war, loss of sovereignty, acquisition of territory due to conquest, annexation, colonization, subjugation. That is the condition of our state. So I'm addressing the citizenship piece and that the claim that Moors have established a theocratic sovereign state. I mean, theocratic means that there's 5 major legal systems. There's 5 major legal systems in the world. You have a common law legal system, a civil law legal system, a ecclesiastical / religious law legal system, a mixed law legal system, a mixture of common law and civil law, and you have a customary law legal system. So when you say a theocratic, that's a religious law legal system having sovereignty. But when you mention sovereign, so let's look at the components. What are the elements? What are the elements? So let's look to China, France, England, Germany. Let's go to the Montevideo Convention. Montevideo Convention of the Acts and Duties of States. The elements of statehood. A defined territory means control over a defined territory. A population. Independence. So when someone says whatever Moore says claims, we got a state. We got a theocratic sovereign state. So that means the religious system is theocratic, or a religious legal system. The legal system, like Iraq. Iraq has a religious legal system. Saudi Arabia has a religious legal system. And their constitution would be the Sharia law. So they would not be like a common law or civil law legal system that has a constitution. That constitution would be Sharia law. That's a religious law. That's Saudi Arabia, that's Iraq, Kuwait. That's a religious law legal system. That they have a defined control over a defined territory, an international law that's called the exercising territorial sovereignty over a defined territory. So a conscious Moore says we have a theocratic religious legal system, right? That means if the California cops come into, they say we have a theocratic sovereign legal system. All right, I got you. That means you fly in the Moorish flag there, and you have a defined control over the defined territory. You're exercising territorial sovereignty. You're connected to the family of nations. So you have the so if California cops or any city cops, you can kill them. You just shoot them, kill them. Because they what? What are they doing? You said that you have a. I know the elements. I'm talking about the elements. So if you're going on to a sovereign, if a Compton cop goes onto a sovereign territory, they can be killed. Shoot them dead. I'm talking real talk. We got to talk real talk. We got to talk real talk. So that's a second claim. So that's a second claim, which is not true. The third claim is that 1865 slavery ended. That's not true. I made a claim and I can support it. Slavery has never ended. Oh, United States exists? California state exists? I thought you said slavery ended. Slavery ended, that means what? We have been, in international law, it's known as post-liminium. Post-liminium is the international law principle of restoration or returning a people to their original condition. It falls under the law of war, right? Because it's a result of war, meaning a result of being captured. And lineum means that threshold. Your return to the threshold at the time in which you were captured. So we post-liminium as returning a people to their original condition and status at the time in which it was lost. Has that been done for us? Have we been returned to our original condition?
No.
And status
No.
before the establishment of the United States?
No.
Before the drafting of the United States Constitution?
No.
Before conquest? Before
No.
slavery? Before
No.
bondage? Before subjugation? Before servitude? Have we been returned to rulership? Are we governing our own land?
No.
Legislation, executing, courts, everything. That Europeans are paying us taxes. Have we been returned to our full sovereignty?
No.
Oh, slavery still going on. Hear me out, please, my brothers and sisters. Please hear me, please. I come to your house. I hold you and your wife and or husband and children in captivity for 10 years. I hold you in chain for 10 years in your house. So I say, you're free. I release the chains. You're free. But I don't leave the house. I don't leave the house. I draft the Constitution on how I'm going to govern in your house. Is that freedom?
No.
No.
I'm in your house. I draft a constitution on how I'm going to govern you. I'm going to deal with trade and commerce, govern you, bring people in. So, in your house, you have not been returned to your original condition and status at the time I entered your house. I must return you to your original condition and status at the time in which it was lost. Which means I must leave the house. I cannot remain in the house, draft a constitution in your house and say, and I'm going to govern you with this constitution in your house. Well, my brothers, please, my brothers and sisters, hear me, please. The Europeans are defining stuff for us. That's the problem. They're defining for us. Charlie Rose of the Charlie Rose Show in 2007, Sunday 2007 in June. Why I know the date, I remember because I was in Hampton. I was at the Hampton Jazz Fest. Every year they have the annual Hampton Jazz Fest for about 4 or 5 days. And it was at the end of June because we had already finished school. I was working for the school board in Camden. And so we were there for 3 days. I was watching the Charlie Rose shows. I was reading the introduction of Roger Desar's book. I know. So it was during that time period, it was the case. Remember that Iliad case, the Cuban boy? The Cuban boy, and they tried to get the Cuban boy back to Cuba, right? They was discussing that. And Charlie Rose, and it's all about language. Charlie Rose said this: whoever defines the language controls the issue. The problem with us is the Europeans continue to find stuff for us. They're defining freedom for us. They're defining Indo-slavery for us. They're defining slavery over for us. Like they're defining for us. They're defining, slavery's over. They define that. You're free. They define that. End of slavery. They define that. Slavery's abolished. They define that. Like they're defining for you. Ain't return jack to you. Ain't leave the land. Ain't return anything. They keep defining for us. Please hear me. It's known as post-millennium, not Abdullah Bey. It's not Abdullah Bey. It's post-millennium, the international law principle of restoration, of returning a people to their original condition and status at the time in which it was lost. We must analyze our condition in the international law framework, as I am analyzing the condition of the native people of Hawaii in the international law framework, not in the framework of the United States Constitution, not in the framework of the United States laws, not in the framework of United States statutes, not in the framework of state statutes and state codes and state regulations, in the framework of international law. So the condition of the Hawaiian people is that of loss of Hawaiian sovereignty, subjugation. I'm using international law, not United States. So you say United States something, they're citizens of the United States. How? How are they? Let's go to international law. Don't show me, all right, do not show me United States anything. Do not show me United States anything. To explain to me and show me the finding of facts that the native people of Hawaii are citizens of the United States. You cannot go to United States anything. You must go to the Queen. You must start with the Queen. You don't start with, soon as you say United States something, I don't care what you say after that. You already stepped wrong. I said, show me that the native people of Hawaii are citizens of the United States. You cannot, once I hear United States something, I'm gonna stop you. You didn't let me finish. Well, I need to let you finish. You say United States. You ain't let me finish. I'm not gonna let you finish. You say United States. You don't start there. You gotta start with the Queen. Show me her. Show me what she says. What did the Queen say in 1893? Hear me out, my brothers and sisters. 1803. 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty. The 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty. Article 3, look it up, not Abdullah Bey, look it up. Article 3 of the Louisiana Purchase Treaty is the citizenship clause. The French subjects didn't go anywhere. Great Britain, France, behind Great Britain's back, ceded the Louisiana Territory to Spain in 1762 through the Treaty of Fontainebleau. They didn't want Great Britain to have it because Great Britain would have had Louisiana Territory, they would have had Canada, they would have had Northwest Territory. Remember, Great Britain defeated France in 1763, the peace treaty, 1763. But a year before that, France, behind Great Britain's back, ceded Louisiana to Spain. Now Spain mismanaged it. Spain exercised Spanish territorial sovereignty. And so Spain brought her people there, and the French subjects remained. They abused the French subjects. They mismanaged it. So Spain retroceded to France in 1801. Now it's a hot potato for France because it's already mismanaged and stuff. So France sells it to United States. Article 3, because remember the French crown, the Spanish crown had granted land grants. So the French king negotiating with the United States, oh, my people stay here, my subjects stay here. My subjects will become citizens of the United States. Article 3, remember, they're negotiating. The French king is negotiating with the United States. My subjects will become citizens of the United States. We have a citizenship clause in this treaty, Article 3. So show me what the Queen said. I'm using international law, my brothers and sisters. Show me what the Queen say. I don't want to hear anything what the United States said, because that's subjugation. Once you say United States said, United States did, United States did, United States did, that's subjugation. What did their Queen say? Not United States. United States ain't their mother. Their mother's the Queen to this very day, because that's what Hawaiian sovereignty. They have a right to recover lost Hawaiian sovereignty. Show me what their mother said. The sovereign power, not United States. So that's why I said that I'm just those claims, and I want y'all to at another time, you know, reread that resolution, my brothers and sisters, at another time, or we can reread it later on. I know other people have other what's the name presentations to give, but we have to examine what's been presented, my brothers and sisters, and my position is I cannot be afraid. I cannot be afraid to challenge those type of things. I cannot, if I want what's best for our people, I cannot be afraid to do it. I cannot be, they're gonna feel a certain kind of way, and well, then I don't do the presentation. Then there's no need for me to do the presentation. Then if I'm going, there's no need for me to do the presentation, because I'm not coming like that. I'm presenting my position with finding of facts. I'm using international law. We are people of foreign. Let's go. All right, so now here we go. George Washington's letter. Let's go to George Washington's letter.
Okay, let me pull that up. I got that queued
George
up
Washington's
too.
letter. Pre-existing sovereignty. That's evidence. George Washington's letter is evidence of our pre-existing sovereignty before the establishment of the United States, before the drafting. Hear me out, my brothers and sisters. Before the drafting of the United States Constitution. This is evidence. This is finding of facts. There's many of them, but why not use this one? I'm gonna use this one. This is what y'all familiar with, right? Well, this is evidence right here of our pre-existing sovereignty. Let's read it. Somebody read it, please.
Yeah, I'll read it. It says this: letter from George Washington to Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Sultan of Morocco, city of New York, December 1st, 1789. Great and magnanimous friend, since the date of the letter which the late Congress, by their president, addressed to your Imperial Majesty, the United States of America has thought proper to change their government and institute a new one, agreeable to the Constitution, of which I have the honor herewith to enclose a copy. The time necessarily employed in the arduous task and the disarrangements occasioned by so great, though peaceable, a resolute revolution will apologize and account for your Majesty not receive those regularly advised marks of attention from the United States, which the friendship and magnanimity of your conduct toward them afforded reason to expect. The United States having unanimously appointed me to supreme executive authority of this nation, your Majesty's letter of August 17, 1788, which by reason of the dissolution of the late government remained unanswered and had been delivered to me. I have always received the letters which your Imperial Majesty have been so kind as to write in favor of the United States to the Bashaws of Tunis and Tripoli, and I present to you the sincere acknowledgments and thanks of the United States for the important marks of your friendship for them. We greatly regret the hostile disposition of those regencies towards this nation who have never injured them is not to be removed on terms of our power to comply with. Within our territories, there are no, I got lost there.
No
Within our
mines.
within our territories, there are no mines, whether of gold or silver, and the young nation just recovering from the waste and dissolution of a long war have not as yet had time to acquire riches by agricultural and commerce, but our soil is bountiful and our people is industrious. We have reason to flatter ourselves that we shall gradually become useful to your friends. The encouragement which your majesty has been pleased generously to give to our commerce with your dominions, the punctuality with which you have caused the treaty with us to be observed, and the just and generous measures taken in the case of Captain Proctor makes a deep impression on the United States and confirm their respect for the attachment, to your imperial majesty. To give to gives me great pleasure to have the opportunity of assuring your majesty that while I remain at the head of this nation, I shall not cease to promote every measure and may conduce to the friendship and harmony which so happily subsists between your imperial empire and them, and shall esteem myself happy to every occasion of a convincing your majesty of the high sense which in common with the whole nation I entertain the magnanimity, wisdom, and benevolence of your majesty. May the Almighty bless your imperial majesty of our great and magnanimous friend with his constant guidance and protection. George Washington.
All right, so we're going to break this. Let's analyze this. So you see here, a pre-existing standing power. George Washington's writing what? A sultan from a standing power. Right? How we're part and parcel. How are we citizens like of the United States? So we're looking at here the date of the letter, December 1st, 1789. This is 9 months after the enforcement of the United States Constitution. 9 months. Now let's look at the treaty, the dates of the treaty. The treaty, peace of friendship between His Imperial Majesty and the United States, was signed by our Sultan Muhammad ibn Abdullah in June of 1786, which is what? That is 9 months, 1786 June, 9 months before the commencement or start of the United States Constitutional Convention. So we talking about a standing power. George Washington mentions the treaty. George Washington referenced the treaty. The treaty is written in Arabic, translated into English, signed by Muhammad ibn Abdullah in June of 1786, 9 months before the start of the United States Constitutional Convention. It was was signed by United States and Congress assembled in January 1787, 2 months before the start of the United States Constitutional Convention. It was ratified by the United States Constitutional Convention in July of 1787, which is 4 months after the start of the United States Constitutional Convention. Follow the dates and keep in mind. So he's referring to activities before this letter now. We're looking at your United States have unanimously appointed me to the supreme executive authority in this nation. Your Majesty's letter of August 17th, 1788. Right? So this is what? A year and a half after the commencement of the United States Constitution, but before this is during the ratification. This August 1788. is that time period in which the states were meeting and ratification conventions. Remember this, the states, the Constitution was signed, and then the delegates of the 13 states took the ratification instructions, which was drafted at the convention in August of 1787. They took the instructions back with them to their respective states, and then they held ratification. They had debates. They had ratification debates and the ratification conventions. Rhode Island is the only state that did not hold a ratification convention. Rhode Island didn't ratify it until 1791. So look at this time period. During this time period, we talk about a standing power, a Moorish standing power.
Abdullah.
Yes.
He also gave a copy. He also gave a copy of the Constitution for our Sultan's approval to see if he's okay with this. What would be the Constitution, right? He says, he gives a copy. Here's a copy. He's basically giving a copy of what would be the Constitution for the United States to the Sultan for his approval to see if he's okay with the draft of the Constitution.
All right. So what does that mean? What do you mean by that? What's your meaning for that? We know what's stated there. We know what's stated there. What does that mean?
I'm further emphasizing the fact that the document of the Constitution for the United States, to add on to what you're saying, they ran it by our Sultan to see if that document was okay to ratify.
All right. Brother. All right. Let's back up. You would have to show me. All right. I know what's read there, but you would have to show me that, and you have to show me in writing in the Constitutional Convention where that was agreed upon by the states, that the delegates of the states made the agreement. Show me in writing that they needed Muhammad, the authority of a foreign power. They needed an authority of a foreign power for that Constitution to be enforced. So if the state, the delegates would have to agree to that at the convention. All right. Whatever you say, you got to give the finding of facts. We don't want to read in. We know what's read there. So I'm not. We're there for you to enclose within. But you were saying for approval, though. You mentioned approval, which means that in order for it to have force, Muhammad ibn Abdullah had to approve it. But you have to show us at the convention where the states, the delegates of the states agreed on that. There has to be a separate document. All right, so let's back up. So the articles, the Constitutional Convention was a revising of the Articles of Confederation. John Jay made a proposal to revise the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation, and because of time, I got to do another presentation for that. Now, the structure of the Articles of Confederation is not structured the way it is under the Constitution. There is no Supreme Court. On the Articles of Confederation, the states have more power. The states were paying; they had to pay war debt. They were moving too slow to send up war debt. The states were violating the Tories' property. They were violating the treaty that they had with Great Britain. They had to sign the treaty with Great Britain, the United States, the Treaty of Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and United States in 1783. The states were violating that. So there were other factors that led to their convening in Philadelphia to revise the Articles of Confederation. The only states that were there were the states that signed the Declaration of Independence, the states that signed the Articles of Confederation. They don't need no authority from a foreign power for that Constitution to go into force.
No, I guess
And,
the
and
reason I'm
no,
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 I see what you're saying. The reason I'm bringing it up is to further emphasize the position of our Sultan as it relates to them. He's drafting a letter letting them know, like, yeah, we internally we changed our government up. Here's a copy of how we reorganize, right? The simple fact that he's doing that, to me, it shows one superior versus inferior as it relates to the land he's on. He's saying thank you for allowing us to be an attachment to your empire. Like, he's showing that's a different position. I'm talking about for people that are just seeing this for the first time, like as a teaching tool to show like it's different between you the slave guy compared to he's showing you great esteem and respect to our government head. That's why I'm highlighting it from that lens. But I also understand what you're saying.
all right, so
It's
let
not,
me let me be.
yeah, yeah.
I hear what you're saying. All right, but let me give you some more. Then I got to go in. See, this is not part of the presentation, but because you brought that up, I got to clear up that's. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Let's go back, my brothers and sisters. Can you pull up? All right, and I need you to pull up the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty. This was October 2023. Remember when I first came on? When I first came on in October 2000, the last Sunday in October 2023, this is the article that we're going to review. Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States. The article that I reviewed with y'all in the last Sunday in October of 2023. The first time I was on this platform. I need to pull that up. Because I don't want them to say Abdullah said anything. So I need to put that up.
Yeah, we actually just went over that 2 weeks ago, actually.
All right, that's
Talking,
fine.
yeah.
All right. All right. So what I'm saying to you is the Sultan is not the factor. I'm going to show you. I made a claim. The Sultan is not the factor. The Sultan is not the factor. When it comes to the land, the Sultan of Muhammad ibn Abdullah is not the factor. You need all the information which you're about to get. I made a claim. My claim is when it comes to the state's positions, the 13 original states' positions relative to our land, the Sultan is not the factor. I made a claim. I'm about to support it. You don't need to say you can. This is my claim. So keep my claim in mind. Keep my claim in mind. I'm going to give you the support of my claim. I'm showing you how to argue. I am arguing. I am presenting my claim, and Mafi's about to bring the support up. Argument doesn't mean fighting. That's not fighting. That's not out in the street. That's not arguing. They're not arguing. I know we use that word. I know that word is used. I'm talking in the academic sense. In the academic sense, we're arguing. We have two opposing premises. When you have two opposing premises, one claim, I counterclaim. So I lay down my counterclaim, and Mafi's about to present my support. Bring on my support. My claim or counterclaim is the Muhammad ibn Abdullah is not the factor relative to the state's position, the 13 original states' position on land. The Muhammad ibn Abdullah is not the factor. That is my claim or counterclaim. This is my support. You don't
Article
need to
one.
say Abdullah said anything, my brothers and sisters. You don't need to say, you do not need to say Abdullah said anything. Look at the support. This is Article 1. Someone read it, please. This is what the treaty. Before we read that, show them what the treaty is. Show them the parties. Show them the parties first. Show them the parties of the treaty. Who are the parties?
Hey,
Because that's
well,
my claim. Because that's part of my claim. Remember, that's part of my claim. The parties are part of my claim.
the United States and Great Britain.
Oh, remember my claim is you Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Emperor of Morocco, is not the factor for the state's positions on our land. That's my claim. So it's important to know the parties. It doesn't read what? It doesn't read Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Morocco, and United States. It reads what?
Great Britain and the
All
United
right.
States.
There we go. Let's read it. Let's read Article 1.
Hey, Mafi, can you remove the red coloring? I can't
Yeah,
really
it's too,
see it.
yes, it's too dark. Might do yellow. It's be
Yeah, there you go. I can read it like that.
yes.
Okay. His Bonatic Majesty acknowledged the said United States, Wes, New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, and Providence plantations, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia to be free, sovereign, and independent states, that he treats with them as such, and for himself, his heirs, and successors, relinquishes all claims to the government,
Relinquishes. Go ahead.
relinquishes to all claims to the government, properties, and territorial rights of the same and every part thereof.
Stop. Once again, what's my claim? That Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Emperor of Morocco, is not the factor
He's not a
when
party.
it comes to the 13 original states' position or rights or claims of rights to the land. Muhammad ibn Abdullah is a non-factor. There's no instrument that you can show me, but I can show you an instrument that supports my claim. This is it. Here we go. The English colonies were formed by who? The English crown, British crown. Through what? Through charters. Proprietary colonies. All right, you have royal colonies and you have company colonies. All right, so you have 13 colonies, English colonies on our land, established through conquest, English/British conquest, not established by us, established by English crown. So what this treaty does, it relinquishes. So he said, remember, let's break it down. The word vis is Latin, which means namely. So what? He's treating with them individually. So his Britannic Majesty relinquishes the territorial rights that's laid out in the South Carolina Colony Charter to South Carolina State. His Britannic Majesty relinquishes the territorial rights laid out in the New York Colony Charter to New York State. That's what that is. You don't need to say Abdullah said anything. This is it right here. All right, here we go. I gave this to you on October 2023. October 2023, People versus Godfrey. People versus Godfrey, which is a New York, write this down, because I don't want y'all to say Abdullah said anything. Just say my claim, and then you say my claim, and then you present the facts, the finding of facts that I present. People versus Godfrey, 1819 New York State Supreme Court case. Let me explain it. People versus, look it up. People Godfrey, Godfrey, 1819 New York State Supreme Court case. It don't need to go to the United States Supreme Court. I'm gonna tell you what. You're gonna understand why. A Army soldier had held a Army soldier as a prisoner. The Army soldier was taking the prisoner, an Army soldier, to the bayonet. the United States had set the federal government had got land from New York State. New York State has the claim to the land. Yes, it's a United States military base. But if you know about territorial jurisdiction, it's where the incident happened. Yes, it happened on a United States military base. But where does the base lie? Who has territorial claim over the land? New York State. How did New York State, Abdullah, gain territorial jurisdiction over the land? You just read it. You just read it. In the People versus Godfrey, they refer to the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty and the 1796 Jay Treaty. New York State had jurisdiction. They didn't say Emperor Morocco. They didn't say the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. So they what? Remember, these states, the 13 original states, are assuming rights under the boundary charters. If there's a case, there's the land dispute, Article 3, Section 2. Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. State against faces the state. New York State, South Carolina State, North Carolina State. There's a boundary dispute. There's a boundary dispute between North Carolina State and South Carolina State. It's held what? And it's argued with New Jersey. The Supreme Court has jurisdiction. What? Article 3, Section 2, the United States Constitution. They're going to what? They're not going to they're not going to review the North Carolina Constitution. They're not going to review, why not? Why not? They're not going to view the South Carolina Constitution. Why? Because the boundaries are not in those constitutions. Where are the boundaries? Where are the land boundaries? In the charters. They're going to bring the charters, North Carolina Colony Charter and South Carolina. I've seen the cases. I don't make anything up. It's North Carolina Colony Charter and South Carolina Colony Charter. When you read the case summary, because they're going to talk about the chain of custody, and they're going to bring in the colony charter because the boundaries are laid out in the colony charters. And Article 1 is where they what? It's been relinquished to the people of South Carolina State, the people of North Carolina State. It has nothing to do with Muhammad ibn Abdullah. I got to give you all the finding of facts. This is a treaty that's relinquishing Article 1, land, and then Article 2, what? The Northwest Territory. Look at Article 2. Article 2 is the Northwest Territory, part of Minnesota, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, and Wisconsin. That's it right there. That Great Britain got from what? France. France exercised French territorial sovereignty over this land. Right here, Article 2, France. Great Britain, what? France ceded it to what? Great Britain in 1762 through the treaty. And and then Great Britain relinquishes it through this article. Not Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Once again, my claim is when it comes to land claims for the states, Muhammad ibn Abdullah has nothing to do with that. It's what? The occupying European sovereign. Here's the evidence right here. My brothers and sisters, the evidence. These are the finding facts right here, my brothers and sisters.
So
this is finding fact. Yes.
So are you suggesting that the way to remedy this is through the International Court of Justice or International Criminal Court, since we're dealing with these European sovereigns, these European powers, I should say?
All right. That's not that one, but you said, so yes, but it's not since we're dealing with the European powers. Yes, that's one reason. That's one reason. The primary reason is that we belong to a collapsed state. We belong to a collapsed state. The Moroccan Empire, that's a collapsed state. We have to recover her. So our issue is that of international issue because it's loss of sovereignty. That's an international application of law. It's not an application of law of United. It's not a United. I mean, United States courts can't hear that. You're talking about a loss of sovereignty, and it did not begin with United States did not initiate slavery. United States did not initiate. United States did not colonize. Hear me out. United States did not colonize. How did the United States acquire the land? I just read it. You just read it. First article. How did it acquire Louisiana territory? The United States didn't colonize that. The United States didn't conquer that. France
Yeah,
did.
actually, it was originally with France, and I believe through a special French land grant, I believe they handed it. Well, they sold it to the Spaniards, which then in turn they sold it to the United States. Actually, the Louisiana Purchase is just the city of the city of New Orleans and a few military barracks. The Europeans came in, the Albions came in, and through conquest acquired all those additional states or land or whatever that. But originally, the Louisiana Purchase was just specifically the city of New Orleans and a few military barracks around that area. That was it. That is the actual Louisiana Purchase per se.
That's not true. Bring it up, y'all. I say that's not true, so I gotta support it. That's not true. That's not true. Let's support it. Bring up, look up Louisiana. Look up the Louisiana Purchase. Look at the treaty. Look up Louisiana Purchase. Look at before that, before Louisiana Purchase, before you look up Louisiana Purchase, go to 1684. Go to 1684 first. 1684 first, because I gotta. That's not true. So I have to have my support. 1684, King Louis, named after King Louis XIV.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What's the landmass though? Go show them 1600s. Show them France in the 1600s. Show them New France in the 1600s. Show the map of New France in the 1600s. Named after King Louis XIV. So I forget.
Oh,
Somebody they named it King Louis XIV, 1684. So get the landmass. Get the landmass. They say New France. I need them to see it. I need to show them that it's not just what he's saying. It's just the United States made 14 states out of it. That big behind land that United States made 14 states out of. That's the Louisiana territory. It's the Louisiana territory.
Show him the search engine.
Yeah, the Louisiana search engine. Yeah, it's the Louisiana territory in 1600s. Louisiana territory in the 1600s.
Yeah, there's one right.
That is what France ceded to you, sold to the United States.
Okay, in 1600s.
I don't want people to say Abdullah said anything. That's not teaching. That's not teaching. I can't. No, there's no teaching going on. If they say Abdullah said. Oh, there we go. There we go. This is what? This is France exercising French territorial sovereignty. 1600s, 1680s, 1710, 1720, 1730, up 17 up, and then that's what they ceded to what? That's what they ceded. France ceded that right there with the territory to Spain through the Treaty of Fontainebleau, 1762. Look for yourself, my brothers and sisters. The Treaty of Fontainebleau, 1762. That's what France ceded to the United States. United States made 14 states out of it, and Louisiana is one of the states. And Empress Ghostin cannot make a sovereign land claim on a Spanish land grant. Look at the case, my brothers and sisters, not Abdullah Bey. Go to the Empress Ghostin case. It's based on what? A British land grant, Spanish land grant, and French land grant. Those are occupying sovereigns, Empress Ghostin. Empress Ghostin. Those are occupying sovereigns. She has a claim, and her claim was based on what? Spanish land grant, French land grant.
Hey, Abdullah, to add on to that, yes, she did win her case, but she won it in the United States courts. She should the foregoing issue is that she didn't win it in an international platform. She won it in the United States courts. She was recognized there. The Ouachita Moors, they were recognized in the United States courts. But the reason why they still have jurisdiction over that land per se is that she didn't do it in the international court,
No,
the
that's not true.
international venue. Oh,
That's not true. Let me explain, but I hear what you're saying. That's not true. What you're saying is not true. All right. United States. Let's go to the treaty again. United States has jurisdiction. United States does have territorial sovereignty claim based on the treaty. Not Spain, United States. Based on let's go to international law. We have a treaty. France sells it and or sees it to the United States by treaty. Therefore, it's now in the hands of the United States by treaty. United States becomes the custodial care of the French land grants by treaty. That's what we're talking about, the treaty. So
well,
United States.
I'm sorry. Since we're dealing with treaties and land grants, should it go to an international platform?
No, because of the treaty. I'm explaining. No, it was ceded to the United States, so the United States has possession of it now by treaty. So therefore, it's addressed. The Spanish land grants or its French land grants are addressed in Article 3, Section 2. United States can hear those. United States Congress set up the Spanish land grant office to hear Spanish land grant cases. United States can do that because of the treaty. If there was no treaty, your position would be correct. All right, there's no treaty. Let's say there's no treaty. Then what you say is correct. Then talk what you just said. If there was no treaty, then what you say is correct. But because there's a treaty, France cedes it to the United States. There's a treaty. So now United States has jurisdiction. And now what? It's called United States is gained territorial sovereignty by jurisdiction, by treaty. Article 3 of the treaty between United States and France is the citizenship clause. The French subjects become citizens of the United States by treaty. The treaty. I hear what you're saying, but it's done. The United States gained control, possession by treaty. You're going to international. What's she going to international court? That's a Spanish land grant. It's a Spanish land grant. She's subject. Empress goes in subject. She can't make no sovereign claim on this land based on the Spanish land grant. That's a Spanish crown. That's an occupying sovereign. How in the world Empress Ghost is going to make a sovereign claim to this land based on a European occupying conquesting instrument? She has a European. The Spanish land grant is what? A byproduct of Spanish conquest. By what basis did the Spanish crown grant Spanish land grant? By conquest. Empress Ghost is making a sovereign claim to the land based on a Spanish land grant conquesting instrument. Hell no. Look at the case based on what? Spanish land grant, French land grant, and British land grant. Those are European conquesting, occupying sovereigns. She has a claim. Remember, I never say she didn't have a claim. Her claim is based on what? Her claim is based on
her claim is based on her based on the French or the Spaniards occupying her land at that time under those land grants.
But she made the claim is based. Her claim is based on the Spanish land grant, brother. That's the answer.
Right. Okay.
Brother, she went to court based on land grants. The claim you got to have a claim. What's the instrument? Where's the proof of your claim? The proof of her claim is the Spanish land grants. The proof of her claim, remember, it's not a sovereign claim, though.
Did she present that?
Yes. But my point is, it's not a she's been, what I'm saying is, conscious Moors have been misrepresenting the issue, though. Conscious Moors have been stating for the past 30 years that Empress Ghostin made a Moorish sovereign claim to the land. Hell no, she did not. Not based on a Spanish land grant. She presented the Spanish, it's in a book. The Return of the Ancient Ones.
Yeah, Return of the Ancient Ones, correct.
Return of the Ancient Ones is based, she had to, but they're Spanish land. But I didn't understand it then, my brother. I didn't understand it then, my brothers and sisters, but I got the book 30 years ago. I understand it now. I understand it now. I could not spit this. I was not like this no 30 years ago. Nor 10 years ago. Nor 7 years ago. Nor 6 years ago. Look at the case, not Abdullah Bey. Spanish land grant, French land grant, and British land grant.
I was muted. My bad, I was muted. I'm over here talking muted. Hey, ain't that the woman with the locks and she got the Mark Fez?
Right, right.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's her. Yes,
Yeah.
she transitioned. That's her.
The Fez tilted to the. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's her.
just clicked right now.
That's her.
Okay.
Right. I just want you to understand. See, I've just I got to raise you all up. That's what I'm saying, because there's misconceptions out there. To proper thinking, proper concept. So looking at that letter, that when it comes to the state's claims to land, is not based on Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Like where is the treat? Those are European. The United States gained possession of our land by what? European occupying sovereigns, not by the Moors. Abdullah, you don't know what you're talking about. That means once somebody says that means I shut up. No problem, I shut up. Once someone says I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm shutting up. They got the floor, and they got 8 seconds. 8 seconds to come out their mouth to say according to. They got 8 seconds, because it don't take that long. Means that you say, I don't know what I'm talking about. That means you already have something else. That means you already have something else. You don't need to dance. You don't need to dance. That means you're going to show us some finding of facts. It only takes, 8 seconds. I ain't saying pull it up. I ain't saying nothing about pulling up. You say, Mafi, pull up X. That's less than 8 seconds. Abdullah, you don't know what you're talking about. Mafi, pull up X. That's what, 3 seconds? 3 seconds? Mafi, Abdullah doesn't know what you're talking about. Pull up X. That's about, like, how long does that take? No, that's why I said 8 seconds. Like, how long does that take? I give him 30 seconds then. That's too long.
No, we do got some questions in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just now seeing them. I apologize too.
Mhm.
So this is from brother Altar Razul Day. Could the Kingdom of Morocco fix all of this today?
could the kingdom, could the kingdom of Morocco, is that the question?
Yeah, he's basically saying, could the kingdom of Morocco fix all this today? That
All
was
right,
your
so let's
question.
examine what.
Matter of fact, let me make sure.
Yeah.
Razul Day, you got the floor. That was your question? Maybe you can elaborate on where you're coming from.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing today, man? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you for your presentation.
All right, peace, brother.
Peace. Yeah, it was kind of my question. With the Kingdom of Morocco not be able to assist us Moors in any way, or be able to reconcile any of these differences, and create a path of uh um rebuilding the
Are
empire.
you talking about the fake Moors, the wannabe Moors? So can the wannabe Moors do what?
Well, I've never heard that terminology used for the.
I said it. I said it. I'm explaining it. I said it. No problem. So you're asking, can the wannabe Moors do what? So can the fake taking your identity, can the fake wannabe stealing your identity Moors do what? Can the fake wannabe stealing your identity people, can the fake wannabe French people, can the fake wannabe French people do what? Can the fake wannabe French people claim to be Moors do what? Can the fake wannabe French people claim to be Moors do what?
To restore, to remedy us over here in the
Oh,
Americas.
the fake wannabe French people claiming to be you do what? Remember, I'm clear about who they are now. I'm telling you who they are. It's clear. All right, it's clear.
I'm just letting
No,
you
I
get
understand
off.
the question.
I'm just letting you get off. But
I'm
it was
saying
my
that I do understand.
it was my understanding from what was shown to me before that there are actually Moors or Muslims in the Kingdom of Morocco who honor Noble Drew Ali and know of him, and they have his photograph over there.
All right, brother. They claiming your history, brother.
So what
They
I'm
claim.
asking, what I'm asking is there any pathway to unity, regardless if you want to call them amalgamated Moors or whatever the case may be? I'm asking, can the Kingdom of Morocco today, can they create any form of unity with us? Because at the end of the day, we still need allies. Everybody, correct me if I'm wrong, every one of these nations have allies. So a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, we ain't got time to be calling out who's this and who's that and woo. What I'm saying today, is there
Hey,
any way
brother,
that we can
brother. You
create?
asked me a question, brother. You asked me a question, and I'm
Yes,
clarifying who they are. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother.
okay,
I'm not
okay,
calling nobody out, brother. I'm telling you
okay.
who they are. They're not Moors. They're not Moors, brother. So hear me out. I'm gonna show. Let me up. All right, because I don't deal with emotion, bro. I don't deal with emotion. They're not Moors. All right. I know what they call themselves. They taking your identity. They claiming your history. They claiming the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. They claiming your history. They're not Moors. They're claiming your identity. I look at the coat of arms. Who are those people in the Kingdom of Morocco claiming to be Moors? They don't look like the Moors in the coat of arms of European families. None of them. The Moors in the coat of arms of European families look like us.
So
They're
we got to
claiming.
make our own way. So we got to make our own way. That's what you're saying. We got to make our own.
I'm not done. No, I went first. No, I'm not saying that. Make your own way. I'm not saying that. I'm first clarifying who they are. First, I'm first. Let's listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm first clarifying because the misconception is that they're Moors. All right, that's the misconception. I'm making a point. They're not Moors. They're claiming your identity.
So excuse me, but my question wasn't pertaining to whether they were Moors or not. I never said they were Moors. I said, can the brothers over there in the Kingdom of Morocco, can they assist in any way today? I never said that I never identified them as Moors. I said that they acknowledge Noble Drew Ali, and they acknowledge us as Moors. Some of them, not all of them. So I'm
And I'm
asking, what I'm asking is there any way, like I said, every nation also needs allies. And if you're gonna resurrect the Moroccan Empire, I'm asking who are our allies, and is there any way that we could bridge a gap and create allies from
All
what
right,
we
that's
can
that's two
present
different
today?
questions. That's two different questions. All right, I want to be clear once again, brother. You don't have to repeat your question. You don't have to repeat your question. I'm very clear on your question. What I'm first clearing up is that those fake people are claiming your identity. Those fake people are claiming your history. So you got a people who's claiming your history. They're claiming the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. They're claiming the George Washington's letter. So those fake people will challenge you about the George Washington letter. So if you say to them that the George Washington letter ties to you, if you say to them that the Treaty of Peace and Friendship ties to you, they're making a claim it ties to them and the history that I have in Moors and Masonry. They're making a claim. They're making a claim that they're the ones that had the treaties with Spain and France in the 1600s, 1700s. They're making that claim. I'm first addressed. You don't have to repeat your question. I'm first clearing up for this is a teachable moment. So your question lent me to bring up these factors that the people who are listening do not know or know they even thought about. That's all I'm doing at first. This is very important to know that they're claiming to be us. They're claiming our history. So how in the world that they people claiming our history, claiming our identity, claiming the treaties, claiming to be our position in history, that these factors got to be talked about, and most contributors don't even know this. They'll just say Kingdom of Morocco, but they don't know the fact that those over there claiming our history and claiming our identity. I'm making that point strong first.
Also,
so let's look.
also, I wanted to emphasize that the kingdom is subordinate to an empire. That's one, and then two, the kingdom of Morocco are French subjects themselves. They're not even sovereign in their own self. They're actually French subjects.
This is what I was saying, that they're French people claiming to be Moors. That's exactly what I said 3 minutes ago. I said the French claiming your identity. That's why I said the wannabes, because they're claiming to be Moors. They're not Moors. They're claiming your identity. They're claiming your history. They're claiming your place in history. That has to be known. That's not something small. That's not a small factor. Or because conscious Moors don't know it and you never heard it before, doesn't make it a small factor. That's something that has to be known, and conscious Moors got to become, and unconscious Moors have to be educated on that point. Because they'll immediately look at Kingdom of Morocco. They're the Moors. See the Moors over there. See the Moors. They do that. They don't know that they're French subjects. This is not small. What I'm talking about, it's not small. This is the major point that I'm making. I'm not being evasive. I'm clarifying a major issue.
Abdullah, I want to bring
Yes.
something up because I feel like I think it's a document that's floating around, or a letter in 1986. I think that's where the brother's coming from. One of the King Hassans in 1986. He mentions Noble Joe Ali in the letter, as far as saying how basically the people of today, they got to remember who they were because we have historical continuity. You know, that's one thing I think is referring to. And another point is because, like, when I'm doing missionary work, I run into a lot of different nationalities of people. And if you talking from this perspective, like people from the Kingdom of Morocco, for example, maybe a little younger, they hearts is not on that. They looking at, oh, they see you in the Fed. They're like, oh, my great grandmother got pictures in my house of the Tarbouche, and I respect it. I like the movement. I like what y'all doing at Khalifa Society. I like the stuff that came out your mouth talking to me. I want to support it. You know what I mean? That type of space. But it might be. But I do agree as others that's gonna be like on the type of tip you talking about, Abdullah. But everybody not on that wave, and it's people that will support, and because they feel like it's honorable, and they come from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where the brother was coming from too. It's like we ain't finna just shut people down because I guess they skin tone or where they dad and mom is from, but they heart is feeling the movement. They looking at all the information we putting out. They're like, I see where y'all coming from, bro. I respect this, but they might be a pale Arab. They might be from the Middle East, right? So that's like a slippery slope because it's people that's willing to unite. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta.
That's not a slippery slope. It's just a lack of knowledge of conscious Moors. Conscious Moors
Yeah,
lack this knowledge. I hear what you're saying, brother. I hear what you're saying.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
because that, we got to keep in mind they're claiming they're claiming our identity. All right. So because they mentioned Drew Ali, and whatever, they're claiming the fact of the matter is they're claiming our history and our identity. Well, you got to understand that's a major theft. That's a
Okay, so
major theft.
with that being said, Elder, that means that the answer is no to the brother's question, correct? They are not our allies. We cannot expect them to be our allies because of the fact that they are fake Moors, French fake Moors, correct?
I would say yes to your yes.
Correct.
That yes.
Okay.
That's like a thief. You know what I mean? Like a thief.
Yeah. No, I
It's
feel
going to
what you're
be
saying.
come to your house.
Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying.
I'm saying that we have to. Well, I'm saying what it is. Conscious Moors don't know this though.
Yeah, but
They
that's what
don't
I'm
know
saying.
this.
I think I think it's a combination of you so seasoned in the game. You've been around. See, a lot of the information you assume people talk about, like the Empress and a lot of the misconceptions that's been around the paradigm. A lot of us on here, I ain't even heard of that. Like you informing us about it. So that's what I'm saying. It's some new Moors with their eyes wide open, and we coming from a little different perspective. If somebody's in my face, like I say, I do missionary 4 days out the week. I'm meeting people all across all the planet, and some of these people, French, British, Irish. If I'm telling them their ancestors in Ireland was darker than me, that means a person from Ireland right now that's pale, their ancestors was darker than me. I know that to be true. The pale person in front of me is like, you're right. That's
Yeah, of
true.
course.
It's
That's true.
statues of Saint Maurice, it's statues where I come
Yeah,
from. I'm
that's true.
verifying what you're telling me is true,
That's true.
right? Right. So if it's people coming like that, I like what you're doing. I want to support it. How can we help Khalifa Society? How can we spread this? We coming from that perspective, like, okay, yeah, I'm taking all that. I'm taking all that assistance. I guess that's where I'm coming from. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you a fake Moor. But I also understand what you're saying as far as the misconceptions, maybe Moors are putting out information. That's one thing. But I guess here, and from my perspective, I'm boots on the ground in a different way. I'm trying to unite and build up the Moorish paradigm on an international scale. And skin tone don't really matter for me personally, as long as your heart is in the right direction and you're not rebutting what we saying, and you know the empire existed, you know everything we said. I'm down with it. I'm down with it. Law of correspondence. We locked in. You know what I mean? So I guess it's a couple different levels of where we're coming
I'm
from.
not talking skin tone, brother. I'm not talking skin tone, so I don't know how that came up. I don't know how you. I don't. All right. I never. I'm not talking skin tone, so I don't know how that got into the
I, I,
conversation.
I'm saying that I'm kind of
No, I'm saying all right, but
elaborating.
no, no, because remember I got it. So then, because that's not what I'm saying. Then because that would imply if I never said anything like
No, I'm
you
saying
just
you're
spoke.
saying fake more. You're saying fake more as the
But
French people.
I'm
I'm saying
saying, but you
most of those
mentioned,
people are pale. Most of those people are
but
pale.
I'm saying, but you brought skin tone up. I didn't.
Right. I'm not saying
So
you did. I'm not saying you
no,
did.
no, brother. But
I'm
if I
not
didn't
saying that.
say anything, it can be assumed though. But if I didn't say anything, and you brought the skin tone, you said regarding skin tone, you brought that up. And if I didn't say anything right now, if I wasn't saying anything, I just let that go. People could assume that's listening right now, or will listen to us later on, that is an issue for me. I got to now clear. You got to give me the floor to clarify that is not what I'm coming from at all. They are French, regardless of what their skin tone is. I'm not looking at skin tone, regardless of what their skin tone. They're French.
My point is the brother Razor is saying, can we unify with people that are willing to show allegiance to what we're doing?
Brother, they show
That's what
allegiance by telling the you spoil allegiance by telling the truth, though. All right, brother.
Right.
You
And I'm
cannot
saying some of them are with that and some of them aren't. Like he said, it's not
all right.
it's not a uniform situation. It's situational. So I'm
No,
saying.
what I'm saying is you show allegiance by telling the truth. We're not Moors, we're French. When someone is claiming to be a Moor and they're not, how are they going to show allegiance? We are French, we're not Moors.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm clarifying what I'm coming from. If a person, once you tell the history of that region, of how it came to exist, 1950s, they got established, all that type of stuff, and there's nothing ancient to that. And when we're talking about the sultans and emperors and the ancient Berbers, we're not talking about them. And they say, I agree. I just found this out today. I didn't know that. Right. And then they saying moving forward, I want to spread this truth. That's where I'm coming from. I'm saying once you tell them the truth, it's people that's a little younger that's not just stuck. They're weighing information out. And they're like, I never knew that. I want to keep learning so I can spread this truth because this needs to be spread. If those people are coming like that, I'm saying we can unite with them. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the power, though. I'm talking about the power. I'm not talking about those you meet. I'm not speaking to them. We're talking on two different levels. Then
I think that's where the brother was coming from. I'm saying Razul. I feel he was coming from that. Yeah.
All right. What I'm saying is, I'm not talking about people you meet. I'm talking about those in the seats. We're talking about the power. Talking about the power structure. That claiming to be Morocco, claiming to be Moroccan Empire. That power structure is claiming to be you. That power structure is claiming to your history. I'm not talking about the people you meet over here. I'm talking about the power structure. That the Europeans, that the French, the French brought them into power. They put French, they put French people, and then, claiming to be Moors. We're talking about the power structure, not the ones you meet on the street.
Islam, brother. No, I appreciate you for your wisdom.
I just want to move on because we find we have two different positions on there, and that's fine. That's fine. We just gotta. All right, but my point is, I don't want to belabor the point.
I just want to go ahead and not to cut your wisdom, but I just want to go ahead and just conclude with saying, I appreciate you for your response, and I think you brought some enlightenment to the conversation with that, and much respect for you standing on your square. No matter if you got to go hard about it, it's still respect, and I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the government power and not just your common everyday folk. So we definitely clear on that.
And on top of that, what I've learned from the elder over the times he's been coming, the Constitution, we don't need to use that as far as we're concerned. And like he said today, international law is the key. You know what I'm saying? We always say, just like he said, I don't want to hear United States nothing. I feel that. You know what I'm saying? Because really, if you get into the nitty gritty, like he's been telling us, you know what I'm saying? He right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We gotta find a way for ourselves, and we have to use international law. We can't say, well, the Constitution says this about this, or because that's their stuff. That's not ours. We have to get back to our ancient way of thinking, our ancient way of living, and we don't have that right now. And the people that we got to pass through to kind of get some type of leeway, the way we kind of going with it, bro, he right. Like, them people against us, they not with us, bro. They against us. At the end of the day, the people that's really in power, the 1%, them people don't give a damn about none of this we talking right now, bro. And that's where he coming from. Because when we first met him, he said he was preaching the wrong thing for so many years. That's why he's so passionate about
I
it.
said that. I sure did. You remember October 2023.
Let me explain something to you, brother. Like when I first bumped into the elder, you know what I'm saying? Me and him was kind of bumping heads and stuff. But you know what I'm saying? When divine intervention, when I sat back and the conversation was over, everything came to me. And every time he come, he pop up every now and then. You better take them Jews, bro. I'm just saying. I yield the floor. Thank you, elder, for your appearance. Thank you, Mafi, everybody, the family. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get off on that tangent. We have to listen to what the elder's saying, because just like Mafi said, he's been in the game longer than everybody on this chat. You know, so we got to really respect it. Don't get emotions involved, like he said. You know what I'm saying? Because I made that mistake too when I first met him, and I apologized to him, and I've been hearing him ever since. Islam.
Wow.
Islam.
Do you yield the floor, Abdullah? You got any other more
The
points?
floor. I hear the floor because I know people had other presentations. I didn't, I knew that, and I didn't want to go, but because I wanted to clear up some of the misconceptions about the letter. I didn't want to let that go. That's why I had to go to Article 1 of the 1783 definitive, because that's important that I did that. But I yield the floor. Yes.
All right.
And I just wanted to tell you, appreciate that insight on, focusing on the sword and the roots of it, of what's going on. I appreciate your work and your studies and sharing that with us.
Islam.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Islam. So next we got brother Larry Bay. He has a presentation. You need to share the screen?
Yeah, I need to share the screen.
Okay, let me get you access. All right, you should be able to share the screen.
All right, one moment. Yeah, I'm new at this, guys. I'm a neophyte when it comes to this. This is Free White Person is one of them that I want. One moment. Let me see if I can read. There's an article I need to share. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull up. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Ooh, wheeze. Okay, one moment here. That's not it. I had it. Nope, that's not it. Okay, guys. Wow. Yeah, sorry about that. Let me see here. I need to pull it up. It's a article that I thought I had it queued up and ready to go, but give me one moment here, guys. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
One moment here. Okay, I have it right here. I have it queued up. Okay, it's right here. Okay, let me see if I can share this. Can everyone see this?
I see the Black's Law Dictionary, free white person.
No, not the Black's Law. It's oh man, one moment here.
I think
Man.
Larry Bay, you're gonna have to stop the share if it's like on different tabs. And when you
Right.
share the screen again,
Okay,
you have
there
to
it is right there. I see
click
it.
all the
Okay, one moment.
tabs.
One moment. Okay, can everyone see
Yeah,
this?
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, Mystery Men in Mountains.
Okay, yes. Okay. So before I do this demonstration, I want everyone to get into a mindset when this story was written. This story was written in the Negro Digest 1945. Okay. So let's just jump back into the time machine. At that moment, we wasn't being classified as Black nor African American. Those terms didn't exist yet. So we were mainly colored and Negro. So let's get into this story. And I might stop periodically just to give a little insight to things, but let's get into this story right now. And I'm going to read this, right? Let me see if I can scroll it. There we go. Okay, so let's start off. Neither white nor black are these strange southern mountaineers, mystery men of the mountains, written expressly for Negro Digest by Bonnie S. Ball. For many decades, census of the races in certain mountainous countries of Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Carolina. Let me stop there for a moment. Notice the author mentioned countries. Your state is not a territory within the United States. It's actually a country. So I just wanted to bring that, let you know where the author is coming from when he mentions countries: Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, New York, New Jersey, whatever. Those are countries. But let's continue on. Have proven slightly confusing due to the presence of a strange race whose origin has remained one of the deepest and most fascinating mysteries of American ethnology. The Melungeons, who are called ramps in some sections by their neighbors, have the mixed characteristics of the white, the Negro, and the Indian. Now, we all know those are misnomers. We all know those are social European sociologically misnomers. So we're going to just skip over that. So let's continue on. This has prevented a definite race classification and has also given rise to numerous theories concerning their origin. Some have dark, oily skin, kinky hair, and dark eyes. Others have coarse, bronze-like skin with straight black hair. Still, another group differs little from the white race, perhaps having brown or light kinky hair and fair or medium skin, and blue or gray eyes. And from a fourth has a smooth yellowish skin with curly or kinky dark hair and dreamy, almost oriental looking eyes. It will be impossible to make any accurate estimate of the number of such people scattered throughout the mountains of these southern states, but it is safe to assume that their number will run into at least 5 figures. According to Bruce Crawford, one of the leading ethological students of the Appalachians and a writer, the Melungeons were officially recognized about 1887 and given a separate legal existence under the title of Coltian Indians on the theory of their descent from Raleigh's lost colony of Roanoke Island, North Carolina, a very convenient theory of disposal, but hardly satisfying to the inquisitive historian. The older Melungeons say they are Portuguese. Keep that in mind, Portuguese. As one who has known the Melungeons since childhood, attended school with their children and played with them on my father's farm, and in later years taught them as pupils and done firsthand research on their lives and past, I can give here only the theories of their origin. Mr. Crawford research revealed that when John Sevier organized the state of Franklin, Tennessee, there was a colony of dark-skinned, reddish complexioned people supposed to be of Moorish descent. They were neither Negroes, Indians, but claimed to be Portuguese. Keep that all in mind when we bring up free white person. There is a theory that the Melungeons is a product of the tumultuous period of frontier warfare when white blood was fused with Indian captors and that of Negro slaves. There are also persistent stories which are recorded in history that DeSoto visited southwestern Virginia in the 16th century, touching a long chain of mountains leading into Tennessee. One ridge known as Newman's was once seen as a teeming colony of Melungeons, who are claimed to have descended from members of DeSoto's parties lost or captured there. In both Carolinas, Melungeons were many years ago denied privileges usually accorded white people. Because of such restrictions, many migrated to Tennessee, where courts in 2 counties ruled that they were not Negroes. Research has revealed traditions that indicate that the Melungeons are descendants of the ancient Phoenicians who removed from Carthage to Morocco, whence they crossed the Strait of Gibraltar to settle in northern Portugal, a colony these Moors is said to have crossed the Atlantic before the American Revolution and settled in North Carolina. They are supposed to be pure-blooded Carthaginians and not mixed with anything. In weighing this last theory, it is interesting to note that the Moors in Tennessee called themselves Portuguese, that the Moors of Carolina came from Portugal, and that Melungeons still call themselves Portuguese. Yet such surnames among them as Collins, Gibson, Sexton, or Freeman hardly suggest an ancient Phoenician background. And there is nothing about the word ramp to suggest a shy or inoffensive race of people. Neither is there any known reason for usage of the word Melungeon, which is said to be derived from a French word melange, meaning mixtures. The Melungeons are often shy towards strangers, but always amiable and with acquaintances. They are loyal to their kin and employers. They are not criminally inclined. They like a carefree existence with members of their own race. They seldom wed outside their clan, and virtually all Melungeons of a single state are related. Nearly all Melungeons, young and old, chew tobacco. They live largely on bacon, corn pone, mush, and strong coffee. In early spring, they sometimes gather a fuzzy green plant that grows along streams that they call beer lettuce. They sprinkle it with salt and eat it raw. They like to gather wild fruits and berries to eat right off the bush, but they see no point in exerting themselves by canning or preserving them. No fisherman can compete with the Melungeon. He simply wades into a stream with his shoes on and searches with his hands for a fish in hiding. In no time at all, he will be on his way home with the string of fish. The Melungeons are a sturdy race of people and seldom have an illness requiring the attention of a physician. They apply many home remedies, such as anointments made at home or various herb teas. They often have herb doctors among them and midwives for child delivery, which seems a comparatively easy procedure with many Melungeon women. Their religion is a simple Protestant type. Occasionally, they have a preacher of their own, but most often they attend the white churches. Now that the Melungeons have entered in the industry as laborers, the segregation is not so noticeable as in former years. Most white people are tolerant of them. To what extent they will modify their molds and absorb into the mainstream of American life cannot be foretold. They still remain America's mystery race. That's the story of the Melungeons. And there's also a several European surnames that apply to this. Now, I wish I had it right here to bring up. I had it queued up one moment here. It was one of these surnames. They have surnames such as Adams, Turner, Tolliver, Freeman, you name it. There's so many of them. If you have that as one of your European surnames, there's a good chance you are a Melungeon. Now, how did this all tie in to the term free white person? Well, you know the Moorish inhabitants of both Spain and Portugal are classified as free white persons. So this is how, as a Melungeon, you can classify yourself as your legal status as a free white person. As you can see, these people were here in the Americas before the Europeans even existed or came to this part of the world, per se. So I just wanted to bring this story up. And also, this also like to highlight how many people say, oh, we're not Moors, we're this, we're that, we're Indians, and so forth and so on. Well, this goes to show this is a story written in 1945. They wasn't making these classifications then. Okay, this right here goes to show that people don't do their research. They don't do their proper due diligence, get the proper information in place, do their studies, and then present the evidence. And I just wanted to present this story to everyone just to show you that the evidence of us being Moors is more than one place than another. And I yield the floor.
Islam. Islam, man. Good, excellent work, man, for your first demonstration, man. Appreciate you taking time to put that together. And that was a good correlation. And I think you meant to bring up free white person again, but it
Yeah,
correlates to what you're talking about, dealing with the Picts, the Danes, the Scots, the Phoenician descent, all that's in the definition of free white person.
okay, can everyone see this right here? The screen what I'm showing right now? Can everyone see it? This is Melungeon and Melungeon related surnames for North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. So if you had a surname such as Adams, Atkins, Barnes, there's a ton of names. Both my parents' surnames are right there in the center, Tolliver and Turner. And I did some research on my family. They do hail from the area of Tennessee and Kentucky as well. So that would definitely be a Melungeon area. And once again, this is all about the legal status of being a free white person. Okay, let me see here. Oh man, how do I remove it? There we go. It went back up. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is the term free white person. Okay, so now I'm going to read this. We all know we all read this on our own, but I'm going to read it right now just for the demonstration. It says free white persons referred to in the Nationalization Act as amended by Act July 14, 1870 has meaning naturally given it when first used in one stat section 103 clause 3, meaning all persons belonging to the European races then commonly counted as white and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries which they have immigrated. Now, this is where it gets real juicy for those who have never read this definition. I'm going to use the term Jews. Jews, we already know the first Jews of Europe look exactly like us now on this call. Okay, so don't get thrown off by that. And another key word is mixed. Notice how many times I use the term mixed or intermixed in this definition of free white person. But anyway, let's continue. It includes all European Jews, more or less intermixed with people of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. It includes Magyars, Lapps, Finns, and the Basques and Albanians. It includes the mix, once again, Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. Once again, free white person is a legal status. Okay, so let's continue on. The mix, once again, the word mix, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily and the mixed Slav and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia. It does not mean Caucasian race or Aryan race or Indo-European races, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, or Mongolian peoples who inhabited Persia. A Syrian of Asiatic birth and descendant would not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. And then, of course, they have all this case law. And I advise everyone to actually read some of that case law because I believe in one of them. I believe it's Javier versus United States, where it read exclusively that anyone that is not of African nativity cannot be a free white person. So that blew my mind when I first read that we're dealing with statuses. Black and white is nothing but mere statuses. And that's why when you address yourself, when you are making your introduction to someone, that the term more has to precede you in your dealings, as opposed to calling yourself black, colored, Hispanic, Latino, Puerto Rican, and all these other different classifications. We got to somehow teach ourselves, relearn that we are Moors and not these other different classifications. So that's why I'm really big on getting to know and identify not only the political classification, but the legal ramifications of our nationality as Moor. So I just wanted that's the reason why I wanted to read over the free white person definition and tie that into that story that we just read over from the Negro Digest, how the Melungeons refer to themselves as Portuguese upon the arrival of the Albions into that part of the world at that time. So I just wanted to tie that all together. Islam.
Islam.
I have a question, if I may. I'm just trying to get some clarification. If I'm incorrect, please correct me. That's what I'm asking the question for. It says to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. So would that be in conjunction with the Moors who still operate commercially within the United States, with their status then become free white person,
No,
and
so
also and also with that delude to the use of I am a U.S. citizen on the Moorish nationality cards in the temples, and I'm asking that question in reference to this book that I'm reading called the Moorish Americans Guide to Understand the Citizenship Civics Lesson. And it was a question I wanted to bring into light today. So it just looks like this is going to segue right into it so I can finally grasp the understanding of that.
okay, so the clear things, you have nationalization and you have naturalization. Naturalization are for aliens. These are people that are foreign from our land. They come here, let's say they start calling themselves US citizens, or they start calling themselves Americans. At best, they can be naturalized citizens at best. But naturalization, that's us. We are the nationals of the land. But the term, once again, when you're dealing with the term free white person, or you're dealing with the term black and white, those are political statuses. They have nothing. They're part of a caste system. They have nothing to do with skin complexion. So we don't want to get thrown off with the term white and black per se in the context of free white person, because once again, white and black are, once again, there are statuses not having to deal with skin complexion per se.
Right. Okay. But okay, so could you kind of tie that back into, let me see if I'm see if it's gelling right now, man.
Can I ask something? I think I know where you're going.
You
This paragraph right here,
which one?
the top one, I call that the connotative paragraph. The second one I call the denotative. So this first one, let's talk about Naturalization Act and all that, the European races commonly counted as white.
Mhm.
That's gonna make your mind go to the 14th Amendment, and most people gonna think, oh, free white persons is anybody that came and got naturalized as a U.S. citizen.
Hmm.
But when you keep reading this one, it go talk about the bloodline. What makes you consider you gotta have Moorish blood. You gotta be from the Celtic. It does not mean Slav or Caucasian race. So when you get to this one, it's telling you specifics like what disqualifies you, what qualifies you. Now we're talking about bloodline. Now the first one
Right.
was, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um,
But I'm saying is because it's saying, can you hold on, let me pinch it. Let me move out so I can see what it is, what I was talking about. So he said, the brother said, naturalized is for the aliens, or people who are not of this continent or country, who come in and want to be so, right?
Right. So at best, they can be naturalized citizens at best. So if someone is of German
Oh, I see what
descent,
it's saying. Okay, I see. Okay, so it's saying that this is what they would come up underneath.
right, correct.
So this status isn't for Moors who are Moors through original bloodline or original status of the land. I mean, original inhabitants of the land, indigenous wise.
so the original inhabitants would be free white person. A foreigner could get naturalized in that setting. But since our people was asleep thinking they black, Negro, colored, it's an empty seat. Like Abdullah was saying, the mother bumped her head. So the the occupying powers are playing a role that we should be playing if we were active back. If we had a sultan, if it was back like how we used to be, um, then we would be the one supposed to be naturalizing the people. But
Okay, I got you.
who's playing the role of the home team 14th Amendment crew? The United States government come to get naturalized. So everybody from the East come over here, get naturalized as U.S. citizens. So because we sleep, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, question then. So then, if I may segue back into the other part of my question. So what's the deal with the I am a U.S. citizen on the nationality cards today of the temple?
Well, I'm
That's
not affiliated with any. of those type of temples per se, so I can't really elaborate on the reasoning why they have that language onto the nationality card. I know mine per se doesn't have that. So I mean, in relation to that question, mine doesn't have it, so I can't really explain or go into detail why some Moors actually have that language on their nationality cards.
That's the
I can't
that's
elaborate.
but that's the schism. That's the schism right there when you talking about Noble Jew Ali alive, him getting assassinated. Now it's three temple number ones, three different ideologies of Moors. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if the divine warning that we read when we pop the meeting off, he's saying the 14th and 15th Amendment is not necessary for the salvation of our people. That's the Naturalization Act that we're talking about that you just commented on. He's saying the
Right.
14th Amendment not necessary. We
Right. Right.
nationals. There's no need for it, right? So why would you have USA on the back of your temple membership card or on the front of it or whatever? Now some people will be like, oh, that mean unity, salvation, Allah. So you're a universe. I'm telling you, I heard all type of stuff, bro. I know, I'm laughing right with you, but I'm saying though, when you like, you know what I'm saying, when you question these temples, you go up into these temples, you'll see they just trained a certain way. They haven't got the information of the civic degree, and it's not their fault. That's why, once again, when we linked up with Temple Number 80 the other time, is because it's a few of them that got good hearts. They higher ups might be whatever, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we can eventually form coalitions with the Moors that got good hearts because now they got something to compare to. They got, oh, okay. Divine warning and certain instruments of international law are not brung up in most of these temples, that Moor science temples.
Right.
So they just don't know better.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They just don't know better.
Islam. I just want to make a comment, man. Like, so this situation is very dangerous because most Moors base their arguments upon United States documentation, and that has to stop. You understand? So, like, I have a question. Like, how can we fight this fight without using pardon my French, they fucking shit? Like, how can we fight this fight without saying, oh, the Constitution says this, or so we have to use the treaties and things of that nature. But the treaties are like the Treaty of Peace and Friendship is in a lingo as in ships and merchandise and things of that nature. So I would have to study that treaty and look up a lot of words so I can get the layman's terms of that treaty. Someone that's just coming in to this type of thing wouldn't understand the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. They'll be looking like when I first read it, I had to keep reading, I had to keep thinking, I had to keep studying, I had to keep listening to y'all before I got it. You know what I'm saying? And looked up birthing and the Navy thing and the lingos with the words. I had to look all that up, but somebody just coming in the game, they wouldn't understand that. But this is what we have to do. We have to use international law. That's the only way we're going to make a stand because everything that they've built is basically for them. It's to benefit them. They may pat you on your ass and take a picture with you with their arm around you like they did Dr. King and whoever else, but they're not really for what we're trying to do. This is a dangerous thing. And I know the elder probably struck a few nerves, but everything that man said was real. And we have to pay attention to it. We are under a great sheik. I'm not speaking against you, Mav. You a great sheik, bro. You a great sheik. And the Most High's hand is on everything that you're doing for us and with us and for your people. Don't get that twisted because if it wasn't true, the elder Abdullah wouldn't pop up every now and then. He sees something in us and he's trying to get us in the right direction. And that's what I think that all of us as a family need to focus on and try to study and try to learn and get that in our bloodstream and stop thinking about constitution and all this other stuff and think internationally on try to, how we going to get this movement really popping. You know what I'm saying? And I yield the floor.
Islam. And you're right. When we dealing with the Constitution, in actuality, it's just the Supremacy Clause, Article 6. What's Article 6 say? all treaties or pre-existing engagements with the United States shall be the law of the land. So pretty much it's saying treaties are the supreme law of the land. At the end of the day, that's Article 6. That's called the Supremacy Clause. You know, so you're right. And like I say, it's a lot of levels to this because let's face it, all our people is part of the Nation of Islam and the church. Most of our people in these institutions, they're not involved in the institutions that matter. And then the people that are wearing fezzes, there's most of them, like I say, is compromised and doing things that are not civic related. So you have pockets of Moors that are trying to erect a more proper way of going about it. But it's a lot of things that got to happen at one time. We need, we need business, the basics. Do we got hospitals? Do we got any type of people that know how to farm? Do we got back to the Chinatown, Koreatown, little Bangladesh? Is it looking like that? I feel that's important to get something going like that. That's very necessary. First, right? That's very important. You know what I mean? If we ain't got no people on the same page that can get it going, like it's more businesses, more working together all throughout the week. It's actually a community. That's what I want to see happen. And now we got a hub. Now we got a headquarters. Now we can expand and go further. Something got to happen first. Right? So we get the plan. We see the vision, but something got to happen for us, right? That's all I'm saying. And everybody got to play their part. So when we're talking about doing demonstrations, putting out flyers for demonstration, want to unite the people, staying consistent, having a platform where people can learn about their birthrights, mobilize and doing business with each other. That's what needs to continue to happen. Matter of fact, that's a great segue for Nell.
Can I show a short clip first?
You want to share the screen?
Yeah. I sent it to your Gmail account.
Okay, how about this? Let me close out in prayer. Let me close the meeting out, and then we'll talk about some miscellaneous physical events that are coming up for February and March. And all Moors in Cali too. All the Moors that's in Cali, it's imperative that we link up. Make it like when we have our physical events, pull up to those. Turban and fezzed up. Watch that cord though. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, my salvation by night and by day, who was Holy Prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Amen.
Amen.
So let me close out. Let me stop the recording rather.